if I traded it all, if I gave it all away for one thing.
Welcome back.
Wouldn't that be
My next guest has been on the air with me many, many times. He's also had his own radio show. I have the CEO, David Fisher of Landmark Gold. And I want you to tell everybody, every time you come on this show, okay, I have to listen to you because I can't help, no matter what I think, you make a lot of sense. You have a lot of things that you talk about. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, okay, what you do, and what we're going to talk about today. Listen up, everyone.
Well, thank you once again, Kara, for having me and our company, Landmark Capital, on your show. Appreciate it. I've been doing this for 22 years, and we're certified members of grading companies in our agency. We're accredited members of the Better Business Bureau, which is not easy to get, I'm finding out here. So no complaints, and we try to make customers very happy, and usually when they roll over their retirement and they get their gold in their hands, they feel very safe. I've done national radio talk shows, local ones, like you said. I used to have my own. I'm a member of American Numismatic Association and members of PCGS and NGC, which are grading companies in our industry. And most importantly, in our industry, there's a thing like the BBB, which we're accredited members of, is called ICTA, and we're a member of ICTA, and we passed all their challenges that the hoops they put you through, and so that's a big flagship or a big feather in our cap.
Now, congratulations on all of that. I also want to get to something important. Besides all of this, what you do to help people, once you listen to you, okay, and this is why I want to talk about this first off.
Sure.
I'm doing a little backwards with you, David.
That's fine.
I'm doing it
It's
on
your
my
show.
way.
It's your show.
It's your time. But anyway, once people are listening to you, the bottom line really is, how can you help us for if these things that you're talking about do come into fruition, and they seem to be leaning in all of those directions, right? What do you do for people?
Well, I'm going to tell you a quick story on this. Will probably bring it full circle. I was on a national radio talk show host about a month and a half ago, and I've been on several since then. But this one particular, we got a call from a gentleman right after the show, and him and I spent some time, probably about 45 minutes on the phone, the first conversation, and we had several conversations, 3 after that. But the first conversation, he said to me, he says, I normally don't respond to the first time. And that's most people don't respond to the radio the first time. But I've been praying for somebody out there that knows something about metals and how to roll over retirement. I heard you could do this. I didn't know how you could do it. And somebody had been around a long time, was not new to the industry, and had integrity, and they could tell by being me on the program that I knew what I was talking about, and I had a good reputation. So after this call of 45 minutes, he says to me at the end, he says, David, I've been praying for you to come into my life. Not in a weird way, but I've been saying, there has to be somebody out there, Lord, that knows what they're doing, that's been doing this a long time, and can help me protect my money from the government wanting to seize it. And you are literally an answer to my prayers. Carol, that's not the first time. I can't count it on my hands and feet, and probably yours too, that's happened in the last few years of 22 years. And so what we do is tailor-made programs for each individual investor. You wouldn't dare build your house without a blueprint, and yet more people invest their money without any plan. So what we do is we ask a series of questions in interactive conversation like we're having today on what their goals are, what their concerns are, what their needs are, what they're trying to accomplish with the amount of money that they're working with. And from that comes the tailor-made plan called an entry strategy. And then we build a long-term relationship with them, because there's going to come a time when they need to have an exit strategy. And, you're going to buy an asset, you're going to sell an asset, and you need to have education and somebody to walk with you during those times. And that is the biggest difference between us and most of the metal companies in my industry.
Now, you do free consultations with everyone, but I also quickly want you to also say, because you've come up with something that other people that one of the only, but if not, definitely one of the most inexpensive.
Yeah, I know what you're asking now.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's a lot of people who say, I want to get my retirement protected because that's what the government, and we're going to learn about a new bill that's getting ready to be passed. That
I'll let you talk in a minute.
Endorses what I've been saying. It just is. It's in the news right now. Okay.
Okay.
It's you're making the hair stand on the back of my neck. But we've worked with a lawyer here in Phoenix who has developed a method, and he's the cheapest lawyer of the lawyers we've used in the past. Only $350 for an LLC where you can take possession of your metals, and $385 if you're out of state. So we do a lot of out-of-state clients. In fact, we have clients in multiple states, in almost all the states. So you can roll over your retirement, and most of our competitors haven't even figured this out, but the ones who fall in the 10% bracket, 10% of the industry has figured this out. The cheapest I found is $995, as high as $1,995. So we're very cost effective because we're trying to help people protect their hard-earned money.
And they do free consultations. Let me give out your information. 602-287-9200. The website is landmarkgold.com. I wanted you all to hear that information because it's important to hear that along with all of this. And sometimes we end up pushing that at the end, and I wanted to get that out today, and thank you for taking the time with us to do that. You can call him direct. You can also call here. We're going to give everybody this white page that he has. Go ahead and talk a little bit about what it is that you want to talk about today.
Well, I've been talking about how the government wants to intervene and seize retirements. I've been talking about it for quite some time, even in my own radio program. But something has happened aggressively since just the last time I was on your radio show, November 3rd. Obviously, we've had a terrorist attack in France, and our president doesn't want to participate in helping that out from a military standpoint. And a lot of people are scratching their heads. But what has happened is the government wants your money, and now they're fighting over which agency is going to get your money. This is crazy, Carol. I said in spring of last year that from an article in MarketWatch, dated February 6th, that the title of the article, in fact, I brought it with me, it says President Obama's 2016, not 2015, but 2016 budget is targeting retirement accounts. So we haven't got to it yet, and that's his focus. He's laying the groundwork way back last February. A couple years ago, Fox News picked up the information about this seizure of assets, and here's an article that I brought with me. It says from Fox News in 2013, February, is your retirement safe from our government? And the answer is the same federal government that has Social Security headed for bankruptcy looking to mess up your 401k and IRA? The answer is yes. But recently, in an Independent Living magazine, which is the largest retirement magazine in the United States, my client in Wickenburg, Arizona, sent it to me on page 16 and 17 of the October issue. It says, Obama administration targets alternative investments. New regulations would restrict your 401k and IRAs. So this is coming out now, and the Department of Labor is announcing that it intends to implement a so-called fiduciary rule in your retirement as early as next year, the beginning of next year. So this is coming real soon. But recently, I know we got to go to break. I'm going to say this. This came out on November 12th here. Legislation proposed to prevent the Department of Labor regulating your IRAs. And now there's a fight who's going to control your money, which government agency. The Retirement Protection Choice Act of 2015 is trying to have transfer oversight of IRAs, annuities, SEPs, 401ks, not to the Department of Labor, but to the Secretary of Treasury, according to language of the bill. Exactly what I've been saying for years, that they want to force us into the Treasury, and now there's a bill before Congress getting ready to pass.
He does free consultations. Who do you want to have your money? You or the government? Now, we're going to have our lines open here. You can call in. Everyone's going to get his coming bail-in white paper that he wrote, how to avoid it from affecting you. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check him out on his website. It's landmarkgold.com, 602-287-9200.
if I traded it all, if I gave it all.
So welcome back.
away for one
We're talking with David. And David, I want to talk to you about something because you had said to me at the break that, you know, there's a year-end thing that's happening now, and you wanted to talk about it. It's a special, and people have to do something because they have to realize that something's coming on. Let's talk about that.
Typically, at the end of the year, people make changes in their retirements. It's just normal. And they move from one stock to another, or they move from out of stocks to cash, or they move from stocks to gold. And in my industry, there's historically a year-end discount. And this happens most of the time between Christmas and New Year's. So it's not a big, long time, but sometimes it starts a little bit before Christmas, and sometimes it ends a little bit into the new year. So there's a discount anywhere from 5 to 20%. Sometimes I've seen, a couple years I saw it as high as 30% a discount. And then sometime by the end of January, you can't even tell that the market went through a discount. So why am I sharing this? Because if a person is going to roll over their retirement and get their money out of harm's way and get this done before they shut the door where you can't do it no more, because that's what this fiduciary rule is about. It's about not allowing you to have physical gold and silver in your retirement, and not allowed to having real estate, any tangible. So this means that you want to be 100% paper. This is the government doing this again. And also to be a advisor on Wall Street, you're going to have to be government approved. So there's massive capital controls coming. Mm-hmm. So whether this gets passed or not, and it's not going to go through Congress, it's going to get signed into law through a fiduciary rule, enough support, in other words, not the normal ways that bills get passed. So if this happens, there might be able to make it very difficult to roll over retirements into precious metals. So that being said, the clock is ticking. Plus, on top of that, if you want to take advantage of a discount, we have to get some information in your hand. You're going to have questions. Process this, learn how it works.
It doesn't happen overnight.
No,
you have to take...
It takes a couple weeks to roll over an IRA or 401k. I've done it as quick as 4 days, but it usually doesn't happen that quickly.
You don't want to have to do it like that. You want to get the information. You do a free consultation. Their phone number, again, write it down, 602-287-9200, landmarkgold.com. And our number here is 602-277-5369. Go ahead.
So, you know, back to this legislation, and I want to make sure everybody understands. I've said on your program that there's a problem with the dollar this year. The Treasury, who's been collecting data on which country sells dollars since the year 1978, since that year, Carol, we've had the most sell-off in the dollar in the history of the dollar this year. In fact, 5 of the largest countries that have held our dollars now became the 5 of the largest countries that this year have sold our dollars. And so this bail-in is all about forcing money to buy a treasury. That's why now this legislation proposing IRAs not to be have an oversight through the Department of Labor, but through the U.S. Treasury. So here, this is the goal that they've always wanted. My question is, why do I need any government oversighting my money? I don't need the government to tell me what to invest in. But that's the problem. It's happened in 14 countries. I brought with me the list of 14 countries, what they did, how much they seized, and when they did it, and how they did it. It is a documented thing. It has happened, Carol, and there is more information in our country that has already been laid to the ground, have paved the way for this to happen, than all the 14 countries combined. So, you know, many people say, well, I don't know if I want to get involved in gold. You know, because gold hasn't moved a whole bunch this year. Well, there's an article that came out in CNBC. And not all gold is equal, just not all stocks are equal, just not like all real estate is equal. But CNBC reported that certain aspects of the gold market and silver market has moved 14% this year, while gold spot has not moved at all. In fact, it's pretty flat. But it's getting ready to move. I'm telling you, it's going to start getting ready to move here. Yet the same article says in the last 5 years, the indexes of other gold products, and I'm not talking paper, I'm talking physical gold products, there are different products out there, has moved as much as 92% in the last 5 years. So this is why when people say, I don't know if I want to get involved in the gold, well, it's not actually about growing your money. It's about protecting your money from the federal government seizing it. Because according to the Wall Street Journal article, they want to seize 56 to 72% of your money through this thing called a bail-in, which has happened in these 14 countries. So this is now all just about laid to rest, where they're going to shut the door. We're going to be able to do this, it looks like, through this fiduciary rule. And the money's not going to probably go to the Department of Labor. They're going to probably pass this bill. And the ironic thing is this is a setup because this bill is from the Republicans, actually. They're not knowing what's really going on. They're not paying attention to what Obama's plan is. They're being sucked into it, in my opinion. And he's probably going to pass this bill that they're going to push through, and the money's going to go to the Treasury. Some is going to get left holding the bag. That's what the bail-in is all about, and it's supporting the debt of our country and supporting the currency of our country, which are both have major problems with it.
But, David, you've also said on the air with me many times that you're not suggesting that everybody puts all of their money in
Absolutely
gold.
not.
And that's what you want to talk about, too.
I've always said put 25% in each asset class, stocks and bonds being one, real estate being another, and cash being another, and precious metals another. And that is the template that we work off of, and some people adjust that up or down from there, the percentages. And if somebody would have done that prior to 2008, they would be fine today. But what happens is 90% of all Americans put 99% of all their money in stocks and bonds. That's what the media produces, and that's what that's what Wall Street talks about. Yet, if you did that, you had a 40% loss in stocks, you had a 40% loss in real estate, cash was even, and gold went up 52% the first year, and it went on a multi-year run after that, and it's still up, it went up 72% the first year, and it's still up 52% today from its correction. Stocks are about even, for retirement's about even what it was in 2007 before all this. Real estate's not quite even or about even, and cash is about the same. So the only asset class that performed during all this and correction was precious metals. And that's why if we look into, if you feel deep down in your gut that something's going to happen, something's going to give again, they didn't fix the system, and President Obama is moving towards seizure of assets, just Google it. President Obama is seizing retirement accounts. Type it in the computer, in the internet. You will see a vast amount of information. Reuters, Fox News, even major people who endorse what I'm talking about, like Steve Forbes, wrote a big articles on it. So this is not just a conspiracy theory. This is reality, and this is where our government is moving to seize people's assets. You can even go to the FDIC.gov, and it has all the language on the seizure of assets through the Dodd-Frank Act, which is seizing your bank account. So this is a real thing.
Now, you do free consultations, and that's what I like, is that you can sit down and just find out. It's great that you come on the radio and you can talk and hear David, because, you can hear your experience. You can hear what you do to help people. And now you can call him, and you can find out through a consultation what's right for you, what isn't right for you, and you won't know. You also want to jump in on getting these things taken care of, because you're going to get the discount if you do. Again, the number to call them is 602-287-9200. It's landmarkgold.com. Go ahead, real quick.
We're also going to offer, because the company's done extremely well this year, I want to offer as the owner and the CEO that any transfers of 401ks or IRAs, $25,000 or greater, we're going to pay for that the lawyer fee, whether you're in state or out of state. And in addition to that, if you served our country, and I love veterans, I love our military. If you served our country in any capacity, and no matter what age or how long ago you did, I want you to make sure you tell my representatives that, and we're going to give you a discount on top of that for serving our country. I believe we should say thank you, not just with words, but in a tangible way, and that's who we are. Because if you take care of your money now, it's going to be there to take care of you. Because there is a problem happening, and I'd rather be 2 years too early than 2 days too late.
He's been doing this for over 20 years. The phone number to call him is area code 602-287-9200. You can also call here. We're going to get you the coming bail and the white paper that he wrote on it. It's how to avoid it from affecting you. You can get it through us. You can get it through him. Again, that number is 602-287-9200. Free consultations. He's going to waive the lawyer's fee for what?
For any IRA rollover of $25,000 or more.
And if you're a vet,
you're going to get a special discount from me, the owner and CEO.
602-287-9200. It's landmarkgold.com.
If I traded it all